We're going to be taking a spring break trip over to Conway, South Carolina via 378. Alright everyone, today we're going to be finally doing another highly requested highway. We're going to be doing US 378. US 378 is a 234 mile highway running between the states of Georgia and South Carolina, where most of its mileage is in South Carolina itself. And South Carolina does an awesome job with this highway, as you can see with a couple of these mileage signs. And they're going to be signing a surprise city in Saluda, South Carolina. You're going to be totally shocked to see what they signed. So let us get started with this cool highway. But first, you're watching the TheDerpHog, where I make highways content on all sorts of different topics. If you've been enjoying it, be sure to hit that like button. And if you've been really enjoying it, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you're notified on all future videos. And if you really want to help out the channel, become a member today where you get custom cool emojis, early access to future videos, along with one free extra request per month. And if you don't want to become a member, you can always just pay $3 for an intersection request in future videos. Those highways will be listed down in the description below, and I'll make sure to shout you out when that video releases. So let's get on with the highway. As you can see here, this is the map of US Highway 378 as it starts at a junction with its parent US 78 in Washington, Georgia, heads east into South Carolina, travels through central South Carolina, ending at a junction with US 501 Business in downtown Conway. So with that, we're going eastbound on US 378. So we begin here on US 78 itself, where we can see that we're about to meet with Georgia 47 in US 378, as they're going to be heading east towards Lincolnton, while US 78 is going to be heading east towards Augusta. To be honest, I would rather see maybe McCormick here instead of Lincolnton, because this is just GDOT being provincial. And in fact, our first mileage time, we just get a one-liner with Lincolnton as our primary from 16 miles away. No, I want to see McCormick on here, GDOT. And then further up the road, we're now looking at unincorporated community, which is not even on Georgia 47 or US 378. In fact, it's on US 221 in the opposite direction. And we don't even meet US 221. So what in the world is GDOT doing here? No need for appling. I want to see McCormick. Sign McCormick, you stupid peach. And here we split off from Georgia Highway 47, which will take you over to US 221 and appling, while US 378 is going to be continuing east into town. And here you get another mileage sign, and now GDOT's favoring another state highway. This time it's Georgia 79, but at least McCormick is on this mileage sign, so I'm okay with it. And it looks like here at the Georgia 43 connector junction, we do get some very goofy looking font for the 378 here. And then up the road, we're now crossing over the Savannah River and into the state of South Carolina. Here we get a South Carolina welcome sign in the middle of the woods. And our first major junction is with US 221, and we are now going to have a short concurrency with it as we head towards Greenwood. And when we split off from US Highway 221, we're now getting signed for Saluda and Columbia respectively. I do like seeing that Columbia there. In fact, our next mileage sign, we do get Columbia as our primary from 76 miles. And on our way to Saluda, we meet with South Carolina Highway 67. Please don't do the memes. It's a dead meme. And it looks like that we also meet a county road, which for some reason has a sign. So let us see what it says. Either it says to Route South Carolina 2838, or it just get a mention for South Carolina 283 in 8 miles going that direction. I know we've seen weirder things, but this is a pretty weird sign to have when like barely anyone's going to be taking this road here. And after passing South Carolina 67, we get another mileage sign, and Saluda sadly is our primary, but Columbia was pretty cool to see for a little while. Here we meet with US Highway 25 in the middle of nowhere, and if you want to check out a video on US 25, it's in the top right corner here, as we're going to be continuing east towards Saluda. But once we pass US 25, Columbia does become our primary once again from 63 miles away. And here in downtown Saluda, we meet one of our siblings, US Highway 178, along with South Carolina 121 and South Carolina Highway 39. And this picture of the 178 junction was provided by Lost in New York, so thank you for this picture and the few upcoming pictures we'll be seeing here with the next couple minutes. He also provided this US 378 shield in front of the Saluda County Courthouse, and he also requested to see this in the video because it's a pretty nice courthouse and you should definitely recommend visiting if you're ever in Saluda. I might. I'm only like 75 minutes from Saluda, so I can just come here one day. He also provided this picture of a mileage sign with Lexington on the top line and Columbia as our primary still from 45 miles away. And on our way to Columbia, or the Conway area, we passed by the Saluda traffic circle, which kind of looks like a big traffic circle that you'd find up in the Massachusetts area. Here's another one of Boston, New York's pictures. This time we're meeting with US Highway 1 and are going to have a short concurrency with it as we head through the city of Lexington. And here is another one of Boston, New York's pictures of US 1 splitting off from 378 as we're now getting signed for Irmo, and that's actually South Carolina favoring South Carolina 6 here. And here finally we have one last picture from Boston, New York of the US 378 and South Carolina 6 junction, and we can see that we're now finally signed for Columbia once again. On our way to Columbia, we actually meet with Interstate 20 here, getting signed for Florence and Augusta. I do like seeing that Augusta, but that Florence should probably be Fayetteville because why only sign a town with like 3,000 people as our primary? And then here on the outskirts of Columbia, we actually meet with also Interstate 26 here. And guess what? I actually have my own picture of the 26 and 378 interchange on Interstate 26. So that's pretty awesome. And here in West Columbia, we meet with US 1 once again, and we are going to have a concurrency with it. I'm going to be skipping this concurrency because I already showed it in the 1 series. And here's where we are going to join it with US Highway 76 as we head towards Sumter. And I already showed the 76 and 378 concurrency in the S76 series, which you can check out in the top right corner here. So skipping ahead to the Sumter area, US 76 splits off from US 378 as it will head towards Florence, while we're going to be heading east towards Conway and south other places. In fact, on our next mileage sign, we do get Conway as our primary from 80 miles away with Lake City, no, not the Lake City, South Carolina with a secondary, and Turbeville as our tertiary from 17 miles away. Here on the outskirts of Turbeville, we meet with Interstate 95 here, getting signed for Florence and Savannah respectively. Now Interstate 95 should definitely be Fayetteville, not Florence, because yes, I know that's where 95 meets Interstate 20, but like I said, Florence has only 3,000 people, while Fayetteville is way larger and out of state. And also on Interstate 95, we do have another picture. This one was provided by Ryan Golden of the 378 interchange, and we can see we are getting signed for Turbeville. And thank you for the picture. And we can see our next mileage time, we actually now get Myrtle Beach as our primary from 81 miles away, so that is awesome to see. And here in downtown Turbeville, we meet with US Highway 301, and I'm not going to be skipping this concurrency because it's just a short concurrency. As we can see that we're making sign for Lake City and Myrtle Beach now. And here's where 301 splits off from US Highway 378 as we head towards Atlanta. No, that should be Florence, while we're going to be heading towards Conway and Myrtle Beach. In fact, our next mileage time, we get Conway as our secondary and Myrtle Beach as our primary from 74 miles away. And skipping ahead to the Lake City area, not that Lake City, but Lake City, South Carolina, we meet with US Highway 52 here at a small interchange. And our next mileage time, we now just get Conway and Myrtle Beach respectively, which are awesome choices. And skipping ahead to the Conway area, we'll meet with both US 501 and 701 as they'll take you over to Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, while we're going to be continuing into downtown Conway now. And always up the road, we end here in downtown Conway at US 501 Business, where you can see that northbound will take you up to Loris, while southbound will take you towards Myrtle Beach. So with that, me turning around and doing westbound US 378. So we begin here on US 501 Business itself, where we can see in downtown Conway, we do have a 378 junction shield, so that is awesome. Also, I really like this picture of downtown Conway. Look at all the pumpkins and the trees. And once we come to 378 itself, we're right smack in the middle of downtown, and we do get a US 378 reassurance shield. On our way out of town, we meet with US 701 and 501 once again, and we can see that we're now getting signed for Lake City, which is an okay choice. That is where we meet US 52. But our first mileage time going westbound, we actually get Sumter as our primary from 79 miles away. Now that is an awesome choice, SCDOT. Well done. Here we just get a one-liner once again after passing by a couple of South Carolina state highways with just Lake City from 24 miles away. And here we meet with US Highway 52 at one of the weirdest exit sign intersections ever. I don't know why the exit sign is right here instead of in the median there. Usually it's right over there, but I don't know what South Carolina was doing with this junction. And our next mileage time, we now get Columbia as our primary from 77 miles away, and that is an awesome choice. And here in Turbeville, we meet with US Highway 301 once again. And here we get the mileage time with Sumter as our primary from 21 miles away, while US 301 will be heading towards Manning. And here's where we split off from US 301, as we're now going to be heading over toward Interstate 95 once again. And here we get a one-liner with just Sumter from 20 miles away. Now we're meeting with Interstate 95 in the same control cities that we saw going eastbound. And here we meet a road that'll take you over into Sumter, while we're now getting signed west for Shaw Air Force Base and Columbia respectively. I do like seeing that Columbia, and Columbia is the correct choice. In fact, our next mileage time, we do get Columbia as our primary from 48 miles away. And this is where US 76 merges back into US 378, and like going eastbound, I'm going to be skipping the 76 westbound concurrency here. And here is where US 76 and 378 join with US Highway 1, and they're going to have a concurrency. And once again, I'm going to be skipping the small concurrency here. Here is where 378 splits off from US Highway 1 and West Columbia here. Now we're meeting with Interstate 26 once again, and like going eastbound on Interstate 26, I do have my own Interstate 26 westbound picture too. And this time it's a very clear nighttime one, which are very rare to see. Here we meet with Interstate 20, and while I have seen this interchange in person, I sadly did not get a picture of it like I did on Interstate 26. But I have seen the Interstate 20 and 378 junction in person. Here we reunite with US Highway 1 for a short time as we're heading towards Saluda and Batesburg. And here's where we split off from the Great US 1 as they'll head towards Aiken now as we're heading towards Saluda once again. In fact, we get a one-liner for Saluda from 32 miles away. And here we get another mileage sign after going through the Saluda roundabout. We get McCormick now as our primary from 46 miles away. And we're getting closer to that special sign. Skipping ahead to the Saluda area, we can see that we have a sign telling us that we're getting signed from McCormick from 32 miles away. And it looks like that there is some extra room to see to have a primary on there. Let us see what it is signed for. Wait, excuse me?
I was not expecting that.
Are we seriously getting signed for that? We're getting signed for Atlanta from almost 200 miles away? That is awesome, SCDOT. Once again, you have blown my mind in assigning a huge city on a US highway. This is totally awesome. I am glad to see that you're signing Atlanta on US Highway 378, which goes nowhere near Atlanta. Hopefully that GDOT does keep up with this. Also, once again, this awesome sign was provided by Lost in New York, so thank you for this awesome sign. And here we meet with US Highway 178 and South Carolina 121 and 39 once again. And as we're exiting out of the Saluda area, we can see that Atlanta is our primary from 160 miles away. That is awesome to see. Well done, South Carolina. Here we meet with US Highway 25, and we can see that we're still getting signed for McCormick. And skipping ahead to the McCormick area, we meet with US Highway 221, and we're now going to have a concurrency with that highway as we head through downtown McCormick. And here we just get a couple of state parks once again, so alright. And here's where we split off from US Highway 221, and we're now getting signed for Lincolnton, while 221 is going to be heading towards Augusta and Abbeville respectively. But once we leave McCormick, we get another mileage sign. Atlanta is our primary from 138 miles, so that is awesome. And here we are crossing over the Savannah River once again and back into the state of Georgia. And here we get a welcome to Georgia sign, and we can see that we're now concurrent with Georgia Highway 43. And I do want to point out one thing here in Lincolnton going this direction on 378. You actually get a couple of service signs that I usually see on interstates telling us all the local / small businesses here in Lincolnton. So that is pretty cool by the city of Lincolnton here. Here in Lincolnton, we're meeting with Georgia Highway 47 and Georgia 43 will be splitting off from us, as they'll be heading towards Appling and Augusta while we're going to be heading west towards Washington. Here we get another mileage sign, and instead of signing Atlanta, they're signing another big city, which is alright, but I would like to see maybe a 3-liner with Atlanta on here because South Carolina was signing it, but Athens is still not a pretty bad choice from 56 miles away. And skipping ahead to the Washington area, we end at US Highway 78, as it'll take you over to Elberton and Athens, while US 78 eastbound will take you over towards Augusta. So with that, we end the US Highway 378 and we move on to the places I'll go. Since I haven't been on 378 or I've only seen it from the interstates, these are all the places that I like to visit if I ever was on 378. I like to visit the Savannah Lake beaches, and then the downtown Saluda, and the big roundabout outside of Saluda, and I'd definitely like to visit the Lexington County Museum, the City of Columbia, the City of Sumter, along with Lake City, South Carolina, and visit Conway, South Carolina, and finally revisit Myrtle Beach, because last time I was there, I had a lot of fun. And that ends US Highway 378. Thank you all so much for watching this short video on US Highway 378. I hope you got to know a little bit more about this highway, and I definitely would like to travel it someday. Especially see that Atlanta sign in person. That was totally cool of South Carolina signing Atlanta from 170 miles away. So with that, here are my next few highways. If you have any intersection requests for any of these upcoming highways, please let me know down in the comment section below. I'll now make sure to shout you out once these highways release. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next week as we head up to North Carolina to do the brand new Interstate 42. Bye!